Okay, so it looks like people have been entering very timely today. Welcome everyone to this combination of three things that we are doing today. My name is Susanna Lorin. I'm the Research and Innovation Officer at Funka, and I will soon present all our speakers today. I just wanted to say that we have today more than 150 participants from over 30 countries, the usual suspects, all the EU member states and North America, of course, but also India, Yemen, Pakistan, and Serbia, which I think is really nice. So some newcomers to the gang, welcome, very welcome, all of you. We are, so start with the housekeeping. We should, the chat is open, but please use the Q&A function if you would like to pose a question during the webinar. You can ask questions at any time, but we will collect them and answer them group-wise, so to speak. We have international sign language interpretation provided today, and also English live manual captions. And these are presented as closed captions, so please use the CC function in Zoom. And we also provide automatic translation of the captions, so you can have the captions translated in several languages. And we do provide a link in the chat to the English captions if you would like to have them separately from the presentation, but also 5 languages. So please, now let's try the Eurovision of captions. Romain, you're first.
Bonjour à tous, ce webinaire est sous-titré en direct et en anglais, et ces sous-titres sont ensuite automatiquement traduits vers le français. Un lien vers ces sous-titres français est disponible dans le chat. D'autre part, nous vous invitons à utiliser la fonction questions-réponses, Q&A en anglais, si vous souhaitez poser des questions directement aux intervenants.
Ja, herzlich willkommen auch an alle deutschsprachigen und deutschhörenden Zuhörer in diesem Webinar. Es gibt Live-Untertitel, wie Sie vielleicht schon gesehen haben, in englischer Sprache. Diese Untertitel werden mithilfe einer automatischen Übersetzungsfunktion ins Deutsche übersetzt und den Link zu diesen Übersetzungen finden Sie im Chat. Wenn Sie eine Frage stellen möchten, nutzen Sie bitte die Frage- und Antwortfunktion in Zoom. Viel Spaß!
And Golfo?
Και για τα ελληνικά, λοιπόν, το διαδικτυακό σεμινάριο έχει αυτόματους υπότιτλους στα αγγλικά, οι οποίοι μεταφράζονται αυτόματα και στα ελληνικά. Θα βρείτε το σύνδεσμο για τη σχετική μετάφραση στο chat. Και αν θέλετε να υποβάλλετε ερωτήσεις στους ομιλητές, μπορείτε να χρησιμοποιήσετε τη λειτουργία Q&A.
Buenas tardes a todos. Como se ha comentado, podéis utilizar la función de subtítulos de Zoom y además podéis utilizar también subtítulos traducidos automáticamente mediante el link que se facilitará en el chat en diferentes idiomas, incluyendo el español. Y para las preguntas, por favor, utilizad la función de preguntas y respuestas de Zoom. Muchas gracias.
Ja, hej också till alla våra svenska lyssnare och deltagare. Vi har ju då engelska live-undertexter idag i CC-funktionen som vanligt, men vi har även automatisk textning på svenska och min kollega Eva lägger länken här i chatten så att ni kan följa den, så får ni allting översatt till svenska. Och om ni vill ställa frågor så använder ni det som kallas för Q&A-funktionen i Zoom. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you all speakers for providing the languages. And now I'm going to present you. So my colleague Peter Kemeny will do the presentation of today's major topic, so to speak. We have my dear friend and newly married policy officer and deputy director, I believe, of the European Disability Forum, Alejandro Moledo, who will bring you the policy update. And then we have from the Dortmund University, Susanne Dierks, and from the European Blind Union, Romain Ferretti. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing that in Italian or French or how, but it's a very beautiful name anyway. And then Golfo Kateva from the Synthesis Center for Research and Education in Cyprus. So welcome everyone, and you will hear more from our distinguished speakers later. The agenda for today, as I said, this is a kind of a trilogue triple thing. We are doing this as part of our Friday webinar series, Free for Everyone, that we started during the pandemic, and we just keep going. So this is part of that series. It's also the accessibility update is usually something we do for the end user organizations and persons with disabilities, and the international accessibility update is what we always do together with the European Disability Forum. And we do that every 6 months to make sure that the end user organizations and individual end users with or without disabilities get to know what is cooking in the accessibility world, both from a policy, regulation, standard standpoint, but also, of course, the research that we are carrying out from Funka. And today we're going to make it slightly different because we are only focusing on one project instead of presenting everything we currently do. So that is why we have so many speakers today, but still we're just having kind of one big topic. So after the short break, we will discuss one specific end user related project and validate some results together with you. So this will be interactive in a more specific way than you may be used to if you have been to these accessibility updates before. So we are now in the welcome and introduction phase. We are then going to listen to Alejandro, who will do a policy update from the European Disability Forum perspective. And we will then present the one project for this meeting, which is the UPower WAD, Users Power the Web Accessibility Directive is the long version of that name, but UPower. And then we have a short coffee break, just so everyone can move around a little bit and get away from keyboard. And after that, we start with the real action here. So that is the interactive validation, where we will have polls and word clouds and all other interesting things to make sure that we get a broad perspective of the research we are currently carrying out. And as usual, we will end this with an open discussion with all our speakers, the panelists, and also a Q&A, of course, based on whatever questions we may get from the audience. So that is what we are trying to do today, but I'll start, as we always do, with a little presentation of Funka and what we are doing and what these accessibility updates are about. So Funka is a small accessibility consultancy that was founded in the mid-90s by the disability organizations in Sweden. And today we are a privately owned company, and the company was created in the year 2000. We have clients all over the world, but our headquarters is in Stockholm, and we are focusing, of course, mostly on the European market. In the consultancy part of the company, we focus on analysis, like user testing. We do monitoring. We do all sorts of audits, of course, and training, supporting people, giving recommendations around accessibility. So what all other accessibility expert companies are doing. But we are also having a slightly broader approach to this topic than the general market has, because we also have a department that focuses on research and innovation, which is the department that I currently lead. And we do both national and regional and European and global research and innovation projects, so that we can make sure that we can pinpoint very specific small details or investigate things that people think are interesting or are really important for end users, and make sure that we kind of push the accessibility market forward. We have a very long relation, of course, with the Disabled Persons Organization, and a very close connection and collaboration, both with individual end users and their organizations. So currently we have a number of projects going on which are led by Disabled Persons Organization or led by us, but where Disabled Persons Organizations have a strong position in the projects. We are also very active when it comes to policy development, the regulations, the directive on EU level, and also the national laws. Of course, standardization, something that is extremely important for accessibility, and where I do quite a lot of work as well at the European level and also in Sweden and Norway. And we also do studies for national governments as well as the European Commission. And we are also one of the proud founders of the International Association of Accessibility Professionals. And if you are not already involved or engaged, please check it out, because it's a member organization, but there's also a lot of free resources that you can find at the IAAP website. So research is needed. More research is needed, even though accessibility is not a new topic anymore, but still there's a lot of things that the society doesn't really know. How things work in reality, what all the new gadgets and interesting things and new updates, what they mean for people in general, for all consumers, but specifically for people with disabilities. So many people ask us why we're doing this. We're still a small company. You can't earn money really on research. You just hopefully make ends meet. But we think this is an extremely important investment to do. And it's the only way, according to us, to make sure that we keep in the forefront of the accessibility knowledge. So we have always been doing research, and we keep doing research, and I think we will continue doing research for a very long period of time, at least. It's also great fun because we learn new things every day. So our projects can happen because of three different things or three different aspects. So either we have an idea, we find something interesting that we want to continue learning more about, or we find an obstacle that we would like to try to solve or find a solution for. So it could be kind of an internal idea that turns out into a project, or of course someone else has an idea, and this is often the disabled persons organizations or individuals with disabilities who come with us and say, this is something that is really problematic for us or for our members, and we would really like to solve it, but we don't really have the resources to do it ourselves. Could we please collaborate and do something together? Could also be a university who comes to us, or a private company, or even a public sector. So just someone else comes to us with the idea, and we see if we can do something together. There are, of course, also the funding instruments for research projects can have a specific call where they ask for consortia to build something specific, or make a specific study or investigation. So sometimes we can pick and choose ourselves, and sometimes we are kind of pushed in one direction. And all of this is equally important to us, and we try to have a good mix of all three of them. So when we do pick and choose the projects that we would like to focus on or spend our time and efforts on, we have very specific criteria. So we do get a lot of invites, of course, and we usually say no to quite a lot of things, which is kind of boring, but we have a limited number of people who can work in the projects. And for us, it's extremely important that the projects that we do engage in follow the same kind of rules or criteria. So we want to make sure that the project that we are involved in is solving a real problem. It shouldn't just be, haha, we found money here, so we can do something, and then that is existing companies that try to, or organizations that kind of find money and they just do something for the sake of getting the money. That is not what we want to do. We want to make sure that there is a problem, an issue, something interesting that we can solve together. Of course, we are quite picky when we choose the partners we want to work with. We want to make sure that they're serious and that they have the same values that we have and so on, and that we can trust that they will do a good job. And it's also equally important for us to know that we can be part of the solution. So we are not writing applications and proposals for others if we are not part of the project. We are not, that's another business, another market. There are very good companies who can write for you. If you would like somebody to just support you with a proposal, then there are many other colleagues in the industry that can do that. But for us, we write the proposals, we can support with all of that, but just provided that we are also part of the project when it starts, if it gets funded, that is. And then we all also want to make sure that we are only engaging in this and spending resources if we do think that the project actually has the potential to be funded. And because we have been doing this for more than 20 years and we have very, very experienced project managers in the team, we at least believe that we can select the projects that have the most potential of actually getting funding, and we have a very high hit rate, which I think has to do with us being able to say no to many things. So that's also important for us. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time, unfortunately. And then always sounds a bit fluffy, but everything we do, and this has always been the leading word for what Funka has been doing, and kind of our mission here is that we want to contribute to a better world for people with disabilities. So it needs to be some kind of bonus for individuals with disabilities, needs to come out of this one way or another. So, and in the research we do, and also in studies and investigations, and then in consultancy, we always have this very user-centered approach. So we try to be very close to users. It has been hard for us during the pandemic, but we have learned a lot about online testing and so on. We do very many user tests. That is kind of the basis of everything. We don't want to present anything or recommend anything before we have tested it with real users. We also have quite a lot of focus groups, and in some cases, this is an even more efficient way of making decisions. And especially if the research comes, if the user involvement comes very early in a project, then the focus groups and kind of discussions can be just as valuable as the actual testing. We often do interviews and surveys, so reaching out to different stakeholders to make sure that we get their views. And of course, it's good to do both, to have like panels or surveys, interviews. That depends on the level of engagement and how many questions we want to pose and so on. So we can use different tools depending on what we are supposed to test. And we really believe that together we can make a change. And we have kind of proved it during the years that we have been doing this. And we're always looking for new partners, always looking for new ideas. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us if you have any thoughts or ideas, anything we can potentially do together. We are always happy to look into project ideas or challenges that you would like us to look into. And normally in these accessibility updates, we have more of a discussion point. We will have slightly less time for that today, but if you have something you would like to change or investigate, just reach out to us now or afterwards. We will share the research email, functional email to you as well. So before we move into the next part of this, I think we wanted to know who you are before we do this, but maybe we can save that to later. So let's ask Alejandro to give us the latest news on the policy side of accessibility.
Thank you very much, Susanna. Thank you for inviting us to join in this update and this workshop. Well, as you know, policy never rests. So the EDF doesn't rest either. The European Disability Forum. Many of you would know what we do. We are representing persons with disabilities before the EU institutions, and we try to advocate for the rights of persons with disabilities and to ensure that the EU complies with the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. And as we already discussed in previous updates, we see that accessibility has been one of the areas in which the EU has finally caught up and is now implementing or about to implement a very robust legal framework for accessibility. So now all countries should introduce provisions and obligations in their national laws concerning accessibility for persons with disabilities. So in this update, I will just go very briefly on the priorities we have ahead of us in the coming months on the accessibility field, that obviously is very much dominated by the transposition of the European Accessibility Act, which should finish by June, so by this month already, by the end of this month, June 28th. So by this date, all member states should have transposed the European directive into national legislation, so either to introduce new laws or to adapt those existing laws that they had that could relate to accessibility of products and services. As you know, the European Accessibility Act has a very strong ICT component, so the scope covers a wide variety of products and services in the ICT domain, going from computers and operating systems until to ebooks, online banking services, e-commerce, or basically any website or mobile application that wants to sell you any of their products or services, ATMs and payment terminals. So it's a very ambitious scope as for technologies, but not so much on other aspects, such as, for example, the built environment. So to this end, EDF, we have produced a toolkit, and we have resources also on our website about how member states can take advantage of the transposition of the European Accessibility Act and even go beyond if they wish so. But unfortunately, what we are hearing from our members at national level is that countries are unfortunately more focused on understanding the exceptions and the long implementations phases that are envisaged in the directive, more than how they can support implementation and a real change in the everyday lives of persons with disabilities. We are seeing not all negative examples, but still there is this downside of legislation in which negotiations need to take place at national level, and we fear that many countries will be late to this transposition deadline. But then the European Commission will need to open an administrative procedure to check whether they have transposed this European legislation into national level completely, and if they have done so in a correct manner. So during this process, or during the coming years, until the Accessibility Act kind of has an impact, so the provisions start to apply, which is 2025. So we still have 3 years. During this period, there will be another important step that we will work together, and I would like to encourage you all to get involved, and this is standardization, what Susanna has mentioned. The European Accessibility Act has an annex in which we have all the accessibility requirements, but then these are the mandatory requirements, so there is no way for companies or public sector to bypass them. But given that these requirements are functional, meaning that they don't specifically explain how to comply, we need technical standards. And this is why the Commission will launch what is called a standardization mandate, a standardization request to the European standards organizations to develop 6 standards. And these standards, by complying with these standards or following these standards, which remain voluntary, but in the end, they will be super useful for companies and public administrations, everybody will be certain that you will be in line with the legislation. This is what a harmonized European standard means. So we will have these years to develop these 6 standards, one on ICT, which is the European standard that we have for the Web Accessibility Directive as well. We will revise this standard to be sure that this is in line with all the products and services of the scope of the Act and all the requirements in the annex of the Accessibility Act. We will also revise the European standard on the built environment, even though it's a voluntary clause in the European Accessibility Act. Countries may include this in their national law, so we will also update the built environment standard. We will also update the European standard on design for all, which is basically a standard for any kind of organization to apply a universal design approach, or as we call it in Europe, a design for all approach, to reach greater outcomes as for accessibility, and to expand the extent of users of their products, services, of whatever this organization is undertaking. So we'll have this the revision of these 3 standards: the ICT, built environment, and design for all. And we will also develop 3 new standards, which are on information, on non-ICT information, so non-digital information, meaning the information that you can find written in the product itself, for example. Think of, for example, an ATM, or in the package of the product, or as part of the service. So this will be developed, this standard on non-ICT information. Another new standard on support services, meaning those services for customers of products and services. When you buy a product or contract a service, and you have these services that support you as a client, as a customer, there will be a standard to make these support services accessible in line with the Accessibility Act. And finally, very importantly as well, a new standard on accessibility to the European single emergency number 112, because up to date, unfortunately, the 112 emergency number is not accessible in a common way across Europe. We have countries that have developed certain solutions, but then when you travel across the EU, if you are deaf or you have a speech disability, for example, you are not able to call, or you don't know even how to call the emergency services in an accessible manner. So the Accessibility Act and this technical standard will ensure that we have an accessible and a common solution across Europe. Is very important. So we will be working on the development of these standards, and I encourage you all to get involved either at national level in your national standards body, or at European level by reaching out to us, to Funka as well, or to ANEC, the Association of Representing Consumers in Standardization. So this is as for the European Accessibility Act. I briefly mentioned before the Web Accessibility Directive, which evaluation is about to finish. We are waiting for the final report from the Commission, and we will see how the Commission evaluates the first years of the Web Accessibility Directive, which, as you know, is the one that ensures that public sector websites and mobile applications are accessible to persons with disabilities. Then also, and now I will go to the more brief updates on other policies. The European Union is very proud of setting standards for the digital domain, as many of you know, and there are three very important pieces of legislation being discussed at the moment. One is the Digital Services Act, another one is the Digital Markets Act. These two legislation basically tackle the digital platforms such as search engines, intermediary services online and so forth, and also the gatekeepers, the big players like Amazon or Facebook and so forth. And whereas the Digital Markets Act final agreement does include accessibility, because we liaised with the Parliament and we made sure that they made a reference to the European Accessibility Act to ensure coherence. The Digital Services Act, unfortunately, what we have heard from the policymakers is that the final agreement fell really short as for our expectations, because they left accessibility as an aspect of good codes of conduct. So basically it will be up to the goodwill of digital platform companies to make their services accessible. We believe that having the European Accessibility Act, having this robust legal basis for accessibility in Europe, we should always refer to the Accessibility Act, because we will have all the elements to ensure at least a common level of accessibility across the digital sector. So we will need to see how the Parliament and the Council, if the Parliament and the Council adopts this preliminary agreement. And unfortunately, one of these two is it does not look well, but we haven't seen yet the final text. The third other big piece of legislation in the digital sector is obviously artificial intelligence. The EU has put forward the first legislation on artificial intelligence, in which, again, we called the EU to include accessibility as a precondition, as a binding obligation, and also other aspects related to the potential discrimination that certain use of artificial intelligence may entail for persons with disabilities. We all know that certain algorithms may discriminate persons with disabilities, so we are trying to convince the policymakers to put fundamental rights at the center of this Artificial Intelligence Act. This is just starting, so I cannot tell you what will be the final result, but we are working very closely with the Parliament and with certain member states to ensure that accessibility and fundamental rights will be considered in the legislation. A little bit of piece of good news as well is that this week, as many of you have seen, the EU has adopted the Universal Charters Directive, in which we've also been slightly involved, because we believe that having a universal charter will also be easier to use for persons with disabilities, because it will be easier for you to use for all consumers. So now we supported very much this proposal from the European Union. And then another regulation which is progressing is about digital ID, which, as many of you know, authentication and identification online in digital services and so forth is many times where we find the most difficult barriers. When you need to log in, you need to authentify yourself and so forth. So in this new regulation, fortunately, the Commission listened to us finally, and they included a reference to the Accessibility Act from the outset. In the proposal is there. Digital ID and digital wallets, they should comply with the accessibility requirements of the Accessibility Act. So it's good for us because we don't need to advocate for it. The Commission already included it. So we are just supporting and keeping an eye on this regulation so it doesn't get lost in the negotiations. And then as final points, I will just mention a big flagship initiative of the disability strategy, which is the creation of an accessibility center. It's called Accessible EU Center. This came because of a proposal that from EDF and our members we made to the Commission before the strategy was launched, in which we called them to establish a new European agency similar to what they have in the US Access Board, which we have seen that is crucial to advance on the implementation of accessibility legislation. So the work that the US Access Board has done in the United States has been really critical and really fundamental for the advancement of accessibility. And we wanted to see a similar agency now that we have all these regulations that I was referring to in the EU. We believe that an agency would make very much sense. Nevertheless, the Commission couldn't propose an agency because they say they didn't have the legal basis for it. So instead, they are proposing this knowledge center or research center called Accessible EU. And they will launch a call for tenders in July, which will close after the summer. And hopefully by October, they will choose a contractor that will develop or will kind of steer the work of this center, which in the end will be like a funded project, approximately, we believe will be around 3 million per year. And it will be to really support member states and the community. So the disability movement, but also the industry, and to put them in contact with accessibility professionals, to create communities of practice, to create toolkits, trainings, libraries of resources, to really support the implementation of all this accessibility legislation that I was referring to. So we hope that this center will be as effective as possible. Unfortunately, it will not have the competencies that a regulatory agency would have had, but nevertheless, I believe it's a really good idea. It's a very good investment in implementing all this legislation, because one thing is to achieve a really good legislation, but a different thing is actually to make a change. So we hope that this center will support us and will support member state and the industry to really advance on the accessibility domain. I would just leave it there. There is another important plan upcoming in the near future, hopefully in the coming weeks, because actually it was promised for last year, which is a web accessibility action plan by the EU. So the Commission was supposed to present a web accessibility action plan last year, but they are late with it. and this will aim at improving the accessibility of the EU websites, the EU tools, like for example the tools that we use for public consultations, or the social media presence, the communications with citizens, and so forth. So we hope that this plan will be at least as good as or for sure, with the same level of accessibility as the Web Directive or the European Accessibility Act, but we really hope that the EU invests as well in accessibility to become a more inclusive institution as well. So these are the most important updates in the digital accessibility field. But if anyone wants to ask any other question on any other field, I would do my best to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandro. That was a lot of information in a very short
As always.
time. but very good, very, very comprehensive update. Thank you. So we haven't got a question yet in the chat or Q&A, so I think we will move on and then get back to you, because maybe you could digest a little bit and then come back. So you are welcome to ask questions. I hope you are with us the whole time, Alejandro, so we can come back to you with questions. Yeah, okay, perfect. So let's move on with today's biggest topic. The research topic of today is the Users Power the Web Accessibility Directive, the UPower WAD project. And we have briefly mentioned this before, so this will be a little bit of a repetition for those of you who have attended previously. But in this project, we have the same partners as we presented the speakers. It's the Dortmund University, the European Blind Union, the Synthesis Center, and Funka. And then we are also working together with the European Disability Forum as an associated partner, so that this will not only cover the members of the European Blind Union, but also all disabled persons organization. It's a 2-year research project funded by the Erasmus Plus program, and it was started in 2021 and will continue until 2023. So the background of this project is really the Web Accessibility Directive enforcement procedures, and the directive is kind of based on 3 pillars. So the first one being monitoring. In each member state, there is a monitoring agency who is controlling that all the public sector bodies that are in scope of the directive are doing what they should do. So that is the monitoring piece, like kind of a policing from the top. And then the other pillar is the accessibility statement. And this is kind of a self-declaration. So each public sector body that is in scope of the directive needs to declare their status of accessibility. And this is very good, not only because it helps the users and the monitoring agencies to know what is happening, but it's also forcing the public sector bodies to actually know and understand their level of accessibility, because otherwise you can't report on it. You can't provide a statement if you don't know your level of accessibility. So this is a kind of a pedagogically very important piece of it. But my personal favorite and the kind of the reason for this project is the feedback mechanism, which is where the end users have the right to provide feedback. If the end user, with or without disabilities, finds something that is not accessible on the website or app of the public sector body, there is a legal requirement that there should be a way to provide feedback. And if that feedback is not responded to in a good way and in a timely manner, then the user can kind of escalate the errand and make a real formal complaints, and then it will be more of a legal action. But the idea here is that the user and the public sector body, the feedback between them should work in a constructive and good way, because then the users have the power, hence the name of this project, and also the public sector bodies get more or less free consultancy, because they learn what is the problems and then they can make sure to fix the problem, and we don't need to have this like a legal process. We can do it kind of on a direct manner. So I think this is really an important piece of the puzzle, and only if these 3 pillars work together will the directive be successful. And I've been involved in the review of the Web Accessibility Directive that Alejandro mentioned. The report will soon be published on behalf of the Commission. And we have seen that monitoring works fine. The accessibility statements are rather okay, but the feedback is still missing quite a lot. And this is why we are now carrying out this project, to make sure that we kind of bridge the gap here and make the feedback more visible. So what we have found, not only us, the European Disability Forum has also done research on this, and I'm sure other organizations as well, but many users are still not aware of this right to provide feedback, or you may have tried to give feedback earlier in the days and not received any response, or not being treated well, so you don't know that this is now a new level of your rights to do this. And we do find in quite a few member states that the feedback mechanisms are either not there at all, even if they are required, or they are quite hard to find, and even if you find them, they may be very hard to use. So that is, of course, also a barrier for the end user. And then it's really a real problem, not only from the kind of involvement of users, but also for the public sector body from that perspective, because even though as accessibility experts, you think that everyone knows that they have a problem, right? But that is not entirely true. Even public sector bodies that really try to do good things, and they know that they need to be accessible, but still they don't really understand what the problem is. Maybe their supplier claims that this is accessible, but it may maybe not be accessible, or they have just done automatic testing, but not testing with real users and so on. And there are loads of situations where public sector bodies and the website owners, they really try to do a good thing, but still they fail. And if no one is telling them that this is a problem, then they don't know about it. So it's not always that they are kind of lazy or don't do this in a good way. It can also be that they actually do not know. And if they can then be reminded or pointed to this, then that is really a gift. Feedback is a gift and should be treated like that. When the public sector bodies do get feedback, they sometimes struggle to interpret and act on the issues. Sometimes it's hard to understand what the problem is for the user, especially if you don't have the accessibility knowledge and you're not aware of assistive technologies and so on. So there are also other potential problems and challenges in this whole ecosystem of feedback for it to work. But we thought that this we need to do something to make sure that this becomes better, because we think it's a great opportunity both for end users, for the empowerment of the users, and for the benefit of the public sector bodies. And if we can make this into a good circle of activities, then the Web Accessibility Directive will be much more successful. So the project is really about understanding the needs from the end user perspective, and then creating tools so that we can support the users. Because of course, each user can say, your website sucks. That's absolutely allowed, and please do if that's what you think, but that will not really solve the problem probably. So a little bit more constructive feedback may be more successful. We also want to support the website owners, so the public sector bodies, because they need to make sure how to handle the feedback in a better way and also provide it in a better way than we have seen some examples that are not really helpful for users or makes it really difficult. So we want to kind of make sure that both users and website owners are supported here. The project is also going to provide guidelines on how to provide feedback and also how to provide a feedback mechanism that works well. And we are also creating a toolkit within the project. And now we would like to hear from you. So just before we move into the short break and before I leave it to my colleague Peter to go through the polls and the word clouds and everything, where we are really asking you to support us, I would like to ask Eva to share the first poll. Because to be able to understand and interpret the responses we get from you today, we need to know who you are. So we are asking you who you represent, or which user group, which kind of stakeholder you represent today. And of course, this is not perfectly scientific, and there could be more, could be a lot of other, of course, here, but try to pick a stakeholder representation that fits best. So here we can see that most of the people online today is from the public sector bodies, so 25%. And then we have disabled persons organizations, other NGOs, and accessibility expert companies. University and research, 18%, that's number 2. And then the disabled persons organizations, 13%, and accessibility experts or accessibility expert companies and NGOs are at the same level, 10%. Users are 8% and other private sector are 5%, and then the ICT generalist companies are 2%. So that's really helpful for our statistics and for the research we do. So it's good that we have a good spread, I think, in this workshop. And with that, I will leave you for the coffee break. And I think it's now more or less 10 to 2. So let's have a 7-minute or so coffee break, stretch your legs, do something else, get away from keyboard so that you're fresh when we come back at 5 to 2. And Peter will walk you through the findings and the polls and the word clouds. So see you soon.
Okay. Hello and welcome back. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we do.
Great. So after this coffee break, let's start to look into the UPower project validation. So now you are aware of what the feedback mechanism is, but maybe before today it was not all clear. So when we'll ask you questions in forms of polls and word clouds, and we'd like you to try to answer them with your previous knowledge. So if you learned already something today, please try to put that apart and answer without being influenced by that at this point. So in this session, we would like you to tell us about your experience, and we would like to see how your experience is then compared to what we learned so far in this project. We know that the feedback mechanism is not often used, and it has different reasons. So in the first step, we try to find out from the users using some interviews about their knowledge and preferences regarding the feedback mechanism. How much do they know? What knowledge do they have to provide actionable feedback? And also, what are their preferences? So when they use the feedback mechanism, was there anything they didn't like, and there's anything that they would like to have? And then we will look in the next step to the other side, so to say, to the public sector bodies. And we'll have a survey as the next part of this project to look at the existing practices. Maybe it's not good to say next or the other side, it should be the same side. So we hope that with this project, at the end of this project, we can get recommendations and provide guidelines that would help both the users and the public sector bodies to find each other and make it easier to provide and get feedback and to use it. So we'll try to connect the dots. So accessibility is about not having barriers, and user feedback helps website owners to achieve that. So our first question is, the first poll is, what are the barriers you face most often? Yep, there it is. So I would read it out loud. So the question is, what are the barriers you face most often? And we have a list here based on our previous research. It can be navigation, headings, text, links, images, tables, forms, video, documents, and other. If you can choose more than one. And if it's other, please put in the chat what was the barrier you faced. And yeah, so what we learned in different researches that it depends a lot what the answers are here, depending on the users, the group of users that are more or less represented. Navigation is usually far ahead, so here as well. what, yeah, I'm seeing the incoming in the chat as well. So navigation is usually is in at the top, and then depending on what, as I said, what user groups are more represented, it can be either images or videos, for example. So this shows as well that there's usually no trend here, and it's we need to have accessibility for all this and for all user groups.
I think it really shows exactly what other research is showing. So it's navigation, it's forms, and it's documents. That is the top three every time, and it's the top three even here. So I think that is really something recurring and something that everyone maybe who works with accessibility also know why. I think, I mean, navigation is very complex. It has to do with design, with UX, with technology, assistive technology. It's kind of a very broad piece of the puzzle to make the navigation work. With forms, we know that we have technical issues as well. They can be complex to create, but also we have the web authors who sometimes make mistakes in the form, so it becomes difficult. And also some people just have difficulties understanding the form, even if it's kind of technically okay. And with documents, well, that is the big issue we have with, I don't know how many billions of inaccessible PDFs we still have to dig into in Europe. So I think this is really, it shows that it's the same. It's really validating the previous research in a very good way. And in the chat, we have videos coming up several times. So I don't know if these people have also voted, but videos are coming, and also color contrast and images with text, and a mix of everything is also a response in the chat. So that's, I think it's that it shows that we have been collecting very similar user needs or kind of obstacles in the previous projects and also here. And we also have a question from the audience if the results of the polls will be shared publicly as a report or article or some other form. And that is, of course, this is a publicly funded project. So the result of the project will be public, and we will also update our little project web page that we have on the Funka website with the kind of small updates during the process of the project. So yes, it will be public.
Okay, thank you, Susanna. So I would close and share the poll and move to the next area, is the usage of the feedback mechanism. What we learned so far, that the feedback mechanism is not living up to its potential, so much more users could and should use it. That's what this project is about, to see how we can arrange that. There are various reasons for that. Maybe users are not aware, or they feel that they lack knowledge sharing feedback, or they might not be motivated. Here we have a next poll, which would ask you about your experience, if you have ever used the feedback mechanism, and if not, why. Here you can only choose one of this list, and the answer options are yes, often, yes, but not many times, no, because I was not aware of it, no, I couldn't find it, no, I wanted to, but it had accessibility issues, no, I haven't, I wanted to, but it was too difficult to use, no, I didn't know how to explain my problem, no, I don't really want to provide feedback, no, I never needed it, and again, other, if you have any other option that's not here, please write it in the chat.
And I would like to just add, since we have so many public sector body representatives here, if you could just write in the chat whatever you kind of feel from your side, because you're also consumers, you're also website visitors, you're also humans. so hopefully, at least, so if you have any aspects of that, what would make you use the, I mean, it's not only that you provide the feedback mechanism, but you may have also stumbled over websites or apps that are not perfectly well working. So please feel free to share any kind of spontaneous reactions to this from a user perspective, even if you are here today kind of representing the public sector body.
Yeah, thank you. So far we have a lot of yeses. And we have also no, I never needed it. And so yeah, what we saw in this project so far is that well, we had the interviews, and who wanted to be involved in an interview, they might have more awareness. So here as well, users that know about the feedback mechanism might be more represented than other users who know less, or sorry, are less aware of it. And so we are at 70%. I think we can close the poll. Thank you. Okay, so this is interesting. So we were focusing a bit more on the feedback barriers. So why people didn't use the feedback mechanism. Most of them were.
I think you need to say something about the results.
Yeah. Okay. I thought the other way around. Okay. So we have a lot, 41% who have used it. Well, it's not necessarily a lot, but it's usually it's more than experience from this and other projects and research. And yes, then those who didn't use it, no, I never needed it. I think, well, we have also participants for our attendees from public sector bodies, so people and other companies, private sector, public sector, so who might not need to have. So who might not meet barriers, they don't have impairments. So what is then high is the no, I was not aware of it, which is in line with our experience, and the no, I couldn't find it. Also, what we learned from also that many websites don't have yet accessibility statements, so it's difficult to find the feedback mechanism which should be available from there. And the very interesting one, I think, is the no, I didn't know how to explain my problem, which is also in the chat. So and that's one of the goal of this project, is to empower the users. So it's, if you have a problem, then and you can find the feedback mechanism, then you just share whatever your problem was, what you couldn't do. It's not necessary always to provide the technical terms or to explain it to the from the technical point of view. It's important that you explain your experience and where it happened, and then the public sector body should track it and then should solve it, in our opinion. So
I think to me, the most important response here is from the chat. Sometimes I think it's my fault if I was not able to use it. I think that is the most problematic piece here. And what we really try to mitigate with this problem is that the users often feel that I did a mistake, and therefore I'm not sure if it's me or the website or the computer or the assistive technology. There's so many pieces of here. So we really would like to encourage users to try to provide feedback. And if it wasn't the website owner's fault, then that is not really a problem, but please use the mechanism, because that is extremely important. So that's also a very important perspective of this, that you often kind of turn it onto yourself instead.
Yeah. It's never your fault. So so what we found in the project is the head was users not being aware or cannot find the feedback mechanism. Then some of them said that some of the users said it was not accessible, so they gave up, or it was too difficult to use, either the language or the structure. Some didn't want to because of previous experience of not getting a response, for example. And then there again, some said they don't know how. So I think, yeah, what we got here back is partially in line, and the main issues are presented in the poll as well.
And it's also another interesting thing in the chat is about being anonymous. That is also sometimes an issue or something that users claim that it's important to be able to be anonymous, and that is of course very understandable and maybe very important. On the other hand, if the users are anonymous, then the kind of the mechanism and the proceedings around the Web Accessibility Directive doesn't really work, because the idea with feedback is that the public sector body is going to respond to the feedback and then you can solve the problem. And if you don't tell them who you are, how can they talk to you and how can you solve this problem, and how do you know that they didn't respond so that you can escalate the problem? So it's really I'm not saying that it's a bad idea to provide a way to give anonymous feedback. Of course, it's I think important idea for many reasons, but it's also not really how this mechanism is intended to work in the directive. So that is really a balance. And of course, as always, the best is if you can provide multiple ways, multiple forms, multiple formats. That is the most accessible way to do this.
So we would move to the next question. We prepared a word cloud about what should the ideal feedback include. So Eva, if you could, yes, please share it. You can see the link in the chat. So you can click on the link and you can type in your answers. So the question here is, what do you think that should be included in a feedback given? And we have some public sector bodies as well, which is very fortunate. So we are very interested about your point of view is what you would like to receive in a feedback, so that you can react to it and then fix the problem. So you just type in your answers and then you send it, and then it will appear on the screen. Yeah, there it starts. Yep, so clear explanation. Okay. User experience, screen dumps, yes, so to show exactly, then attachment. Use case user experience. Yeah, so now we enter into the technical part, is what device is used and what assistive technology. I'll stop reading it not to influence you a bit.
So we have in the chat also that maybe the problem is lack of more detailed instructions on how to provide this feedback. And I think that is also something that we have found, and something we will definitely collect when we collect the best practices and try to make sure that we provide guidance on. Also, it's really important for the users to get enough support or instructions on how to do this. And I also wanted to comment on a comment in the chat about that it's not the responsibility of the users, and of course not. And I think that was a reaction to Peter. You said that the users should use the feedback mechanism. That is absolutely not what we stand for. It's an opportunity. It's a right that users have, and it's something that users may or may not use to use, of course. And I think the majority of users will not use all their days in providing feedback. That's very natural, and it's absolutely clear that the responsibility for accessibility of the public sector bodies website are at the public sector bodies owners. The website owners are responsible for the accessibility of their own websites, no one else.
Yep. Yeah, sorry. What I wanted to say is that they should be able to use. So if they want to, they should be able to use it. Yeah, definitely.
And they should know about their rights, of course.
Exactly.
So we're trying to provide.
But it will always be the responsibility of the website and the mobile applications owner. Okay, so we have some results. And
we also have a positive thing in the chat, which is the person who says have overall good experience with the feedback mechanism. So that's good to hear, because we normally get a lot of negative feedback. So the problems get worse when you need to use the complaints mechanism, because if the feedback doesn't work, then you go to the kind of the legal part of this. And that is, of course, a hassle for everyone. And that is exactly why we believe that if this can be solved at the feedback level, then you don't need to go to the complaints. But thank you for providing positive feedback as well. And I think we have a winner is clear explanations. So instructions, explanation. I mean, there are many interesting things in the word cloud, but really the biggest one is clear explanation. So I think that is something we can really take with us into the project and make sure that we do when we provide the prototypes and when we show the good examples, that the explanation part is something that comes also from stakeholders, that it's important.
Yeah, and then the other results also reflect what we found, to which, so I will, like the disability the person has, to mention it, and the link to the site or screen dump, and use case, user experience, so what we call practical details. Okay, so I will now move to the slide. Yeah. So what we received in the word cloud is very much reflecting our findings. So most voted was to provide, of course, the practical details. So what happened, what was the problem the user faced in practical terms, and then some users also mentioned, which was here as well, to provide technical details, what operating system, what browser they use. They are all helpful for the owner of the website. Then the usage, so if they use assistive technology, for example, and the disability they might have, and that influences the usage. And then examples, so to send a screenshot or send the video that is, or a part of a video that is not working. And a very important thing as well, which we got back, is from the interviews, that the problem is many times that they feel that the public sector body is not aware of the knowledge of the users, and is surprised or doesn't really have the motivation to understand what the feedback shared and to act on it. So this I found very interesting, that of course both so the public sector body side should also approach this with an open mind. I was surprised that it was mentioned in the interview when we asked about what feedback should include. Okay, so, and we now move to describe a bit more the different feedback mechanisms, and then we'll show a quick summary or a quick.
You can just move to the examples to save time, because otherwise we will never.
Let's do that. Okay, so we identified 4 types of feedback mechanisms. The first is the simple email or phone, when you have in the accessibility statement the text that you can provide feedback, and then an email address and a phone number is given. Sometimes there's no phone number. It's useful to have both. So that's a simple contact form. The next one is a simple form, which usually is within the accessibility statement. So it asks about where did you find the problem, what the problem was, what barrier you faced, and then usually to provide your email address so you can get a response. And then usually you need to accept the privacy part of it, so that they can use your email address. And then you send it, and then you hopefully have an automated message about thanking you the feedback. The next is a complex form, which opens from the accessibility statement as well. So this first one, so we have two more complex forms. First one is when you have a general feedback form, where you need to select that you respond you write about web accessibility. Here again, you describe the problem. You can select maybe what type of feedback you send, if it's the lack of accessibility or you want to have an alternate version. Then you fill in your personal details, phone number, probably email, and here again, send it, and it's done. With these first three, you are free to describe your issues, your problems. And the fourth one is the detailed feedback form, which has various steps. First, it asks you what was to explain where you found the problem, what was the problem. Hopefully, it asks about the assistive technology you use. So here, example, screen reader, the operating system, so the technical details, the browser, I don't know now. Then how you want to be contacted. So you can here, if I choose email, add the email address, and then hopefully, well, it's a good thing if it then summarizes, because it summarizes your answers, and then submit and you get your confirmation. So these are the different forms identified, and they are different. So, and the different mechanism can be different in various aspects. So the type of channel it uses, email, phone, the structure it has, if it's simple or more complex, if it's a specific form for accessibility, or it's a generic form where you have to choose that you give feedback on accessibility, and the different level of guidance it has. So now all of these actually has to do with motivating the user. So different users need different needs. So these different mechanisms can facilitate for the users and motivate that. Through facilitating, they can motivate the feedback as well, and such as help the public sector bodies to find and fix accessibility issues. So we will have another word cloud about what's your view, how would an ideal feedback mechanism look like? So what should it have that would make it easier for you to send the feedback, to provide feedback, and from the public sector bodies, how should it facilitate? How should it facilitate to get a feedback that's actionable and then that the public sector body can use to fix the accessibility issues? Yeah, the link is shared in the chat again. It's used in the same way as before. Okay, so far it's a tie according to the size of the letters. Okay, simple is starting to come ahead and easy to use. And what we can see, there are preferences, already different user preferences. Somebody prefers free text, open text field, others form with options to choose from. Then we have also detailed form. Anonymous is here again. We mentioned that before. Yeah, that's an interesting issue. I mean, if somebody would like to share feedback anonymously, then of course they should be welcome. So it should be possible, but then obviously they won't receive a feedback about the status or the solutions. Simple and intuitive. Okay. Fast help. So yeah, I think there are reactions on that it should solve the issue quickly, if that's what fast help means. Structured, and also different channels start to appear, like direct chat, contacts to current pages.
We really need to wrap this up now, Peter. So.
Yeah, so let's close the word cloud. And so what we see is that like pairing categories or bringing categories together, simple and intuitive is important. Anonymous is very much underlined this time.
So I think what we need to do, because we will not be able to do the analysis here, so we can just share this with everyone that was on the. Sorry for the bad timing of this. We had needed much more time. I'm sorry for that, but we will have to stop at times. So we will just make sure to package this in a good way and share it with everyone that was registered for the webinar, so that you get both the kind of initial findings that we have, that Peter has been sharing with you, and also the results of the polls on the word clouds. So we publish that on the website and send you a link to it together with a recording of this webinar. So if you could share the end slide with the email address, please, Peter. We have one question for Alejandro. I wanted to make sure that gets a chance to be responded. So Pernilla is asking Alejandro, did I understand Alejandro correctly that there is an accessibility policy document on apps? If so, can I find it somewhere? So on
apps?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that.
No, I mean, there is the Web Accessibility Directive covers mobile apps of the public sector, of the public sector. Maybe this is what the participant is referring to. We can share the link in the chat. And then the standard on ICT, on accessibility in ICT products and services, has a table at the end that links the technical requirements with the binding requirements of the directive as for mobile applications. So maybe with these two documents, you'll have what you were looking for, if I understood correctly.
Okay, thank you very much, Alejandro, and thank you, Peter, for all this information. And thank you all the participants for sending your views and ideas around this. It was really, really helpful, very good for us to validate the findings. And if you would like to know more about the project or be involved in one way or another in this project or in other research we're doing, please do not hesitate to reach out to us at research@funka.com. And with that, I would like to thank all our interpreters, Lisa, Jardinand, and Sherry, and also the rest of the speakers. We didn't have time to do the panel. I don't really know how that was planned, but obviously it was too much interaction with the audience. So that I think is a good thing, because that was the idea, to reach out and get involvement from the users. And we really got that in an extremely good way. So thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time and listening to us, and I hope you will find this useful. And of course, we'll be extremely happy to share with you when we have more tangible results of the project, so that we make sure that every user that wishes to provide feedback can do that in a good and constructive way, and that the public sector bodies also feel that they have a way to handle the feedback given to them in a good way, so that these two things are connected in a good way. So with that, we'll close the box for today. Thank you everyone for attending, and go out and make the world more accessible, all of you, and enjoy your weekend when we come to that. Bye-bye.